Hello and welcome to our broadcast for Spartan Online News. I'm your host, Sal Alfada. Today's conversation is all about student athletes and their APR scores. If you don't know what an APR rate is, we wrote a news article for you first, so go ahead and check that out before you listen to this video. And JMO, do you think it was smart that the NCAA raised the APR rates for college students?
Yeah, the academic progress rates, raising by 30 to 930, I think that was a good idea. It equates essentially to at least having half of your team graduate, and I just don't think that that's asking too much for college teams to have half of your team graduate. So I mean, I think the rise is not that bad at all.
Yeah, that's right. I agree. It really shows what student athlete is first, and not athlete. So, well, to help us go through the rule today, we have with us Jim Pignataro, who is the Associate Athletic Director for Student Services and Director of Student Athlete Support Services for Michigan State. That's a mouthful.
Long business card.
Jim, how are you doing today?
Good, great. Thanks for having me.
Good.
All right. So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Michigan State?
Sure. I came to Michigan State in 1996. I was working at Florida State at the time, and I was part of a team of 4 individuals that came to get ready for the Smith Academic Center. And the Academic Center for Student Athletes on campus is located on Shaw Lane, attached to our Duffy Doherty football building. And we opened our doors in 1998, and I was part of the team that got ready for that building and opened that building and put the programming in place. And I left for 2 years to go to Eastern Michigan University and came back in 2002 as the director. And so now for the last 9 years, I've been directing the Smith Center as well as overseeing sport medicine and strength and conditioning for the athletics department.
That's very cool, huh?
That's awesome.
All right. Well, as we said before, we're going to talk today about the APR rates of student athletes. So can you just tell us a little bit more about what APR is and what the rules are and all that stuff?
Yeah, we tend to throw around APR like everyone knows what that term means, but you've mentioned that it was the academic progress rate, and it actually went into effect in 2003 from then president of the NCAA, Miles Brand, who at that time wanted to bring academic reform up to a level that we hadn't seen in Division I athletics. And so what we considered to be a second academic reform package that came in 2003, APR started, and then with President Emmert coming on board and making some more changes, he felt that there was a need to increase the standard for student athlete retention and graduation, and therefore actually this past late summer and fall we passed the legislation that you were talking that increased this APR score, which is really a retention and eligibility metric. It's actually not a graduation rate. And I think that's what sometimes fans and people get confused, is that we're actually measuring, does a team retain its student athletes from year to year, and then if they do, this will equate to a certain rate. And I think that's tough when people hear, well, what is a 930 APR score? They can understand, well, a team has a 60% graduation rate, but they really don't know what a 930 APR score is. I can go into a little detail on what that means if you'd like.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
What are the components of that?
So we're tracking each student athlete is worth 2 points a semester. They're worth an eligibility point and a retention point. If you meet those metrics for eligibility, you earn the eligibility point going to the next semester. And then if you actually enroll in the next term, you earn the retention point. We add up all those points like a GPA, and then a team gets an actual percentage. And the NCAA has determined up until this year that if you retain 92.5% or 925 as a score of your team, you will not incur any kind of penalties or loss of scholarship. Now we're at 930, which means we have to retain 93% of the team from 1 year to the next without having any penalty. And as you mentioned, it does equate into a 50% GSR, which is a graduation success rate, which is different than what the university posts as a graduation rate. It equals a 50% NCAA GSR graduation rate.
Do you believe that is the rise is a little bit an expectation that's too much?
They're giving us time to implement the change. I have said on record that I think the APR is more of a manufactured number and doesn't give a real depiction of what's really happening in a program. I think it gives you some indication of what's going on. Because there are so many bonus points in APR for giving leeway for student athletes who transfer to another institution or play professional sports, or if you have an athlete come back and graduate, you get bonus points. The actual number is not a true retention number. And so I think that's why I call it a manufactured number. Now, it's still a good number to determine if an athletic department's healthy, sure. I think it is. But it's not, to the average fan or the average person tracking this, it's not a true retention number.